Hello and how are you? My name is Muhindo Bark and I welcome you to our fourth video of learning how to make web applications using Laravel. In our today's video, we are going to resume from where we stopped at in the previous video. And if you still remember, in the previous video, we got introduced to routes and controllers, basically. So in today's video, we're going to take it from there. We're going to proceed with the topic of what? Of views and Laravel Blade. So I hope you're good to go with me. If you are, then let's go straight into business. So I'll begin by opening the project, which is this one, and this is my Visual Studio Code, and I'll go ahead and open our project, which is eBlog, okay? So I can close everything that I had opened, and I hope everyone can understand where I am at this moment. If you don't understand, then I recommend you to watch the previous video. So let me go ahead and start the project by just simply going to the terminal and write PHP artisan serve. Okay, so by doing like that, our project will be able to do what? To get started on an IP address that's going to be provided. So once the project starts running, we can go ahead and open it in the browser by putting that IP. Okay, and I hope it's gonna work. Okay, yeah, it has started serving, and I hope you can see. So in yesterday's video, we stopped at a point whereby we got introduced to the views. Okay, so I'm going to go back that point and I explain it afresh so that you can understand everything. So if you still remember, yesterday we looked at routes, and we basically looked at what? At web routes in the previous video. Okay, web, and this is where we are. So we went ahead and got introduced to controllers, and then if you go to controller, this is what you'll see. So the video got stopped along the way, so I don't explain everything here. So if I say maybe die here, I can say this is home page from controller. Okay, so if I save, I come and refresh, I can see this is home page from the controller. So of course it is very hard for us to write here what? To write here HTML. So the better way to do that is to provide a special place where you can write our HTML with simplicity. So I'm going to show you the technology that Laravel has put there to make it simple for us to separate the concern and put HTML in its own special file, so that it should not mix up with our PHP file. So Laravel, it brings to us a technology that we use called Blade, PHP Blade. So a Blade file, it will help us to simply write HTML inside there and also implement PHP inside that file. So as you can see, we start here at web routes, and this web route will take us to the what? To the controller. So I say this is a place where you do what? Your logic before you display anything. So after doing the whole logic, so the next thing is to display. But you can see this is very hard for us to display for us here things. You can write here, it is very hard for us to write here HTML inside this logic. So what we do, we create a special file, which I've told you that we call Laravel Blade. And in that file, it is where we put our HTML and everything that a user wants a user to see. So to do that, we can find those files of the one that the user will be seeing. We will be putting them here under resources. Okay, so under resources, so we can have CSS, JavaScript, etc. And then under resources, we can have what we call views. So in this folder of views, it is where we're going to put our different files that we want to work with. So I'm going to put there my first view. Of course, I can call it maybe home page, okay? So I can call it home, and maybe I can call another view of about us, and I create another view of what? Of contact us. So it means that here, I'll come here under resources, under views. I'm going to create here another what? Another special file by right-clicking and say new file. So in say new file, I'm going to give this file a name. So I'm going to call it maybe index, okay, or I can call it maybe home. So this file must have an extension of .blade and then .php. So by doing like this, Laravel will allow us to put their HTML inside this inside this PHP file. So you can write as many as you want, but in other words, this is where we're going to be putting our HTML. So let me put here maybe some just simple text and say this is blade file. Maybe I can say for home page. So once we have our blade here, so if I come to a screen, of course, we cannot see anything that is connected to this blade. So the thing that we're going to do right now, we are going to connect this blade with our function here, so that this function should do what? Should be able to display things that are in this are in this blade. So to do that, we just simply remove this what we had put here and just return. So if you want to reference a blade file, what you do, you just simply say view, and then you open bracket, and then you put what? You put the name of the file. So the name of our file is called home.blade.php. So Laravel will do the whole logic until it reaches here to this views folder. So if you put home.blade.php, you may not need to put home.blade.php to do what? To reference it. So I can as well come here and say this is just home. So Laravel will know that this is having an extension of .blade.php from here. So if I save and I put semicolon, I save. So you can see this is what? This is blade file this is blade file for home. So that is how beautiful it is to link up or to connect two pages. That's how it is important to do what? To connect the view with what? With its respective controller function. So I hope we've understood that, okay? So just adding this word view and then the name of the file, it will do the same magic, okay? So I can as well link these ones with their respective views. So I can just simply come here, maybe I want to show you that you can as well add a folder. So I can say maybe new folder and I call it others, okay? Under what? Under views. I call it others. So maybe here in others where maybe we're going to put the contact us and then the about us. So I can come here the other and say new file and then say me contact-us.blade.php. So this naming can be any as long as you maintain the word .blade.php. Okay? So I can say this is contact us blade file. Okay? So that's how the only way how we'll know that is blade file. So I can come here and add another one and say new file and I call it about us.blade.php. That's very important, okay? So the blade.php, and I can also come here and say this is about us blade file. So you can see we can simply link the method in the controller to what? To the respective blade. So if I want to display maybe about us, I'll just simply come here and then say stroke about, and then put stroke about us, and then when you press enter, you see this is about us from controller. So as it's showing from controller, it's because I've not linked this about us with what? With the view. So let's go ahead and link it with its respective view because the view we have already created it. So I'll come here to the project and then come back to what? And then come back to main controller. So instead of just returning this garbage, I can comment it and then say return, and then you put view. So one thing that you should notice here, that the view that we are looking for of about us, it is under others. So what you do, you can put now others, okay? So from here, you can start mentioning the remaining folders after reaching the word views. So I can put others dot what? Dot okay, dot about us. about dash us. Okay, so the meaning of that dot, it will do what? It will be as a folder. So it means that this is a folder called others, and then under it there is a what? About us page. So that's how routes can read this one. So you see, so you can see that is from the blade file. So I can go ahead and also maybe do another one for the contact us. So by just simply removing this and return, I put view, and then so I can also put the contact as it is the contact us blade. I mean the contact us blade file is inside others. So I can put other than /. So this one will represent a what? A folder, and then I put contact, and then dash us. So even though you don't specify .blade.php, still Laravel will be smart enough to know that it is that. So if I come and refresh and I come and put here the link for contact us, you can see this is contact us page. So that is how we write, that is how we display the views into into our Laravel project. So after doing that, so we can proceed. The next thing is we can see now how we can deal much more. We can go much more deep into our blade files with our blade files. So the next thing we're now going to see how we can display a variable in a blade file. So to do that, I'm just going to simply come to our home page. Okay, let me come here just to our home page. This is the blade for home page. So where is it? I can just simply find it here under views, under home page. Of course, you know it came here from this control and then the home blade. So it is this one, right? So I'm going to now put here HTML content. So I can just write our HTML structure. So the next thing that you may need to put in your computer, or you may need to put in your Visual Studio Code, you have to install here some extensions. For example, you may need to install, let me show you the extension that you may want. If you want to have automation, or if you want to have suggestion of some things, okay? So you'll need to install, for example, PHP interface, this one, PHP interface. This PHP interface will help you to do what? To auto-suggest most of code. So go ahead and search for PHP interface, this one, and then install it in as an extension to your Visual Studio Code. You can also install Laravel blade snippets, or you can install Laravel blade format. Laravel blade format, these two extensions. So those two, they can help you to auto-arrange your code of blade, okay? So you can also install HTML5 and CSS support. That's HTML5 will help you to auto-suggest HTML. So those are the extensions that you may need to add in your Laravel, in your Visual Studio Code, so you can have a better experience in writing blade files or writing code into your blade file. Okay, install PHP interface and then go ahead and install Laravel blade format and also Laravel blade snippets. Yeah, those ones, and also install HTML5 CSS support. Those ones, okay. So once you install those ones, then life will be much more simpler. So let me go ahead and show you what you want now. For example, if I put here HTML5, you can see I have my HTML5 there auto-suggested, okay? So I can say maybe this is home page as title. So if I come here and refresh, you can see this is home page, okay? Home page, it is on top here. So that is how it is simpler to combine Laravel with what? With HTML. So even though this one is a .php file, but you can see we can simply put their HTML file like it's just like a HTML what? HTML project. You can put the HTML content as just like it is HTML content. So that's how Laravel makes it very much more simple. So the next thing that we're going to do, I can just simply put here maybe, for example, a H1 tag or H2 tag. Okay, maybe say H1 tag, and I say home page. And then I put here maybe a P tag and say, welcome to home of this project, okay? Okay, so if I save, I come and refresh, you can see, welcome to home of this page, which is really nice to do what? To write HTML into a PHP file with simplicity. And that is the power of Laravel Blade. So now the next thing, let us learn how you can display now a variable. What if you want to display maybe a variable? Maybe I want to display a name. So in this Blade file, there is a way of how you may put there your own PHP. So to put there your own PHP, you can just simply put maybe, I can come here on top and say maybe I open a tag of PHP, just like we do our PHP, and then I close the tag of PHP. So here you can put anything that you want. For example, I can say die and say this is PHP logic. So even though we're writing there our HTML with simplicity, that does not stop us from what? From embedding there our PHP code. So if I save and I come and refresh, you can see we're having this is PHP logic. So it means that we can also put there our PHP logic as long as, since it is what? It's a .php file. So let us say maybe you have now the name of the project, or you have a variable called project name there, and call it maybe simple project. Okay, like this. So that's the name of the project. Now this is a variable. Now if you want to display it, I'm going to show you how you may display what? A variable. Okay. So I can now let us put here maybe welcome. Welcome to, let me put it maybe here, say project name. So I want here to replace this word project name. I want to replace this word project name with the real project name, okay? Welcome to the real project name. But we know project name is what? Is a variable. So if you want to display a variable in Laravel Blade, you just simply put open curly bracket like this and close curly bracket like this. Then in between there, put there a variable, okay? Like this. Project, and then put name. So this variable is going to be substituted here. So if I come and refresh, you can see, welcome to simple project. Can you see? So that is how we can substitute, or how we can implement or display values in a Laravel Blade without so much hassle. So that is one way, of course. So in case there is an HTML here, let us say like if you put here maybe a BR tag like this, and you come and replace it and refresh and display it, you'll see the BR tag, it has come exactly as how it is written there. But what if, so it means that it caters for HTML injection, okay? So now what if we want to do what? To this one to be executed as HTML, so that this BR inside this variable of the name of the project should maybe create a new line. To do that, we just simply go ahead and put this semicolon like this, okay, exclamation mark like this, okay. So you put two exclamation mark there like that. What it does, it will go ahead and implement it as a what? As HTML. So whatever I put here, even though it is a variable, so if it has HTML, it will go ahead and do what? And implement it, or display it as a what? As HTML. So this is how you display what? HTML variable. Or you want to display a variable that has HTML. So HTML can be executed. This is how you do what? This is how you display it. So to proceed, we have looked at how to display variables. So another thing, we want to learn maybe how to pass variables. So the most time that when, I mean, most of time when we'll be dealing with this Laravel blade, it will be passing data from what? From controller. Remember, all the logic will be done before displaying this, okay? So the question comes like now, how can we display data from that comes from controller to this blade file? So it means that it becomes very important or very handy to pass the data from the controller side to what? To this side of the project. So I mean to the views or to the blade file. So to pass data from the controller to the blade, this is how you pass it. So I'll just simply come here to my controller first. Okay, so I come to the home controller and I'm going to, let us say that I've done maybe the whole logic from top there, and I want to pass the details to what? To this view. Okay, so I can just simply say, maybe I can say name equals Muhindo Mubaraka, like this. Okay, so if I want to pass this name to this view, what I do, I'll have to pass this name to this view by the use of what? By the use of array. So I can say comma, and then here I open an array that is going to take the what? The data. So a fancy way of opening array these days, you can just open it by writing the square bracket. So you write a square bracket, it is be taken as a what? As an array. So let us go ahead and write this associative array. So I can say maybe name like this, and then you put equal sign, and then the greater than sign, and then put the name. So it means that this name is going to be passed to this blade file here, like the way it is there. So if I save, I come and refresh, of course, we will have not displayed it. So let me go ahead and access this name and display it. Okay? So this is inside the controller, and I'm trying to pass it to the what? To the blade. So let us go to home blade file and then try to display whatever has been passed to this home file. So I'll come to home.blade.php here, and then maybe we try to display it, okay? So I can simply say maybe P and say maybe B and say name, and then put colon, and then here I can put now the name itself. So if you want to access whatever you've passed here, so you can access it using the name that you gave it here, okay? That you gave it in that associative array. So if I want to access the name, I can just simply access it directly here as a variable, like this, and say name. So PHP is going to do what? To scatter them and put them there like that. So if I put there, I come and refresh, maybe, put here maybe a HR tag. Okay, so if I can do like that, I come and refresh, you'll be able to see that our name has been able to be displayed here. So it means that if I come into controller, and I pass maybe John Black like this, save, if I come and refresh, you see the data that comes through the controller, it has been, it is being displayed in the blade file. You get it, eh? So that is how we basically pass data. So of course you can pass different kind of data. You can even pass an array. So to pass an array, let us say, okay, let's pass another variable because maybe this word name can confuse you. You can pass, for example, 6 equals maybe male, and come here and pass it like this by just simply saying 6, and then you put 6 itself. So you don't memorize that all the time it must be like this. You can even change it from here as long as you follow the structure. So let's go ahead to our blade file and display this 6. So you can simply come here and then come here and change this one to 6, and then come and put here 6. So if I save there, I come and refresh, you can see 6 is male. So name is that, 6 is that, and we know very well how this data comes from where? It comes from the controller, and is being displayed in the views. So, or inside the blade. So that is how we pass data from controller to blade. So it can be even a complex, it can be complex data, for example, arrays. So let me say maybe create an array called maybe colors, okay? So it's going to be an array, I say equal sign, and then open an array like this, That's another way that I was telling you how you can open an array. So I can say maybe colors, we have maybe black, and then put here maybe yellow, and then put here maybe red, and put maybe pink, and pick maybe blue, put maybe green, like this, okay? So let's go ahead and pass this color into our blade file, okay? So to do that, we'll just simply put comma here and put maybe colors, and then put the colors and pass them there. So as we see here, these are colors, and it is an array. So if you want to access it from the other side, of course, it will also be accessed as an array, but that has come into with colors. So let's go ahead and access from the other side. So I can come here to our blade file and put maybe a for each. Oh, by the way, okay, let me just, before I go to for each, let me just go ahead and put just maybe here a PHP file, and then maybe a PHP tag, and then put here maybe print_r, and then put the colors variable. So it's still an array. You'll be able to pass it like that, and you can access, you see, it has been accessed as an array. So that is how we pass data from this side, from the controller to the what? To the blade. And that's how we access it. I hope you've understood. So we can proceed. So the next thing is we are going to see now how we can do if condition, okay? So with this blade, it gives us another simple way of how we can do if conditions, okay? So if you want to do if conditions, blade it makes much more simple than a normal HTML way of writing if condition. So if you want to make an if condition, so I can simply say if. So when you write if you have installed the other extension that I told you of Visual Studio Code for Laravel Blade, you can have, it can generate for you the whole syntax of creating an if condition. Just separate if, and then we'll see here b, and then colon if. So that one will be able to do what? To generate for you an if condition. So in other words, you can just simply write at if, and then you open bracket, and then put here at end if, like this. So that is an if condition. So I can say if 1 is less than 2, I can put here any HTML file that will be executed if that condition is what? Any HTML code that can be executed when this condition is true. So I can just simply say 1, let me put here maybe a p tag, and say, sorry, I want to put a p tag, not a b tag, a p tag, and say, oh my God, and say 1 is less than 2. Okay, so this one will be executed only when this is true. So this one helps us without, it helps us to write if without too much pain, like the way it was in writing if while you're mixing PHP with HTML. So if I come and refresh there, you can see 1 is less than 2. So if I want to write if else, so I can say if, I can just simply put if, and then you'll see if else here. So in other words, it is just like this if with a condition, only that it has else here. So I can say, so I can as well remove this and just simply put here else. So in the else side, you can put here and say 2, I can say maybe 1 is not greater than 2. So that is when the condition is wrong. So if I come and refresh, you'll see it will execute one of it. So if I try to put here wrong condition, maybe is 1 greater than 2, of course it's going to execute the second one. 1 is not greater than 2. So you see, if condition can be implemented like that. So another thing that I'm going to show you how we can loop in Laravel Blade. Okay, so to loop, it is simple. We just simply write at 4. Okay, so if you have installed the other extension, you just simply put here B and then colon then 4, this one. So you just simply add 4 and then here end 4. So this is a at 4 loop and here end 4. So I can say so I put here I is equal to 0, I is less than maybe 100, and then say I plus plus. So I can go ahead and display this 100 by putting maybe a p tag, okay. Like this, and then inside between here, I display the I. So I can put here I. So by doing like this, I'll have displayed a loop from 0 up to 100. So if I refresh, you can see we've displayed a loop from 0 up to 100. Okay, so this is how we write a for loop. So you can also write a for each loop. So a for each loop, it is where you can loop through maybe associative array or an existing array. For example, this is an array of colors. Remember we had it. So if I want to loop through this array of colors, I can as well do like this. I say for each like this, and then put here the colors. I can call this one now a color. Okay, so I can go ahead and display it by putting maybe a p tag. Okay, and then display here the colors here like this. So this is a for each loop in Laravel Blade. So let me put you on top so you can see it first, like this. So you see, I save, I come and refresh. So you can see we have here our colors displayed, black, yellow, looping. So that is how we do for each in Laravel Blade. So in this video, we'll stop from here. So in the next video, we'll start by looking how we can create other components such as using external files and also implementing the layouts. So I hope you've understood how we can pass variables to a layout, how we can also display variables, and how we can make if conditions, and how we can loop using for loop and for each loop. So in the next video, we'll have to look at now how we can use external files or external Blade files, and also how we can use layouts of Laravel. Okay, so I hope you'll not miss, and make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay updated anytime that we upload a video. So we catch up in the next video. We're going to go deep into how we write these Blade files. So one more thing that you have always remember, immediately after you finished, always remember to commit your changes here on the GitHub. So I can come here and I commit and say maybe I put a main topic. So today we looked at Laravel Blade, and then press Ctrl and Enter, and then you push it online. So if you go to your GitHub, you'll be able to do what? To find there your data or your code that has been updated. So don't miss the next video, and I hope you will join in me in the next video. We're going to proceed from where we stopped at. Okay, goodbye, and remember to subscribe.